This is Mike Roth. Welcome to the Open Forum in the Villages podcast. In this show, we're going to talk to leaders in the community, leaders of clubs, and interesting folks who live here in the villages to give a perspective of what's happening here in the villages and information that I think all villagers should have. We hope to add a new episode most Fridays at 9 o'clock. This is Mike Roth. I'm here today on Open Forum of the Villages with Janine Evans. Say hi, Janine.
Hello, everybody.
Good. And today we're going to be talking about the work she does at Doc's Restoration as an interior decorator. But before doing that, Janine was born in Georgia, went to school there, went to college to be a ballet dancer.
Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm. What college was that?
I went to Birmingham Southern on a ballet scholarship.
Mm-hmm. And then you got married and moved to Dallas, Texas.
I sure did. I married a Dallas boy, got married, and lived there for about 30 years before I moved here.
Good. And when did you come to the Villages?
About 2.5 years ago.
Okay. And about 2.5 years ago, is that when you joined Doc's Restorations?
It was around that time I joined Doc's Restorations, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, right around COVID.
Mm-hmm. Great time to start. A job where you have to go into people's homes, huh?
Well, yes. It was actually a difficult time, but working with Doc's was a great time and a really good company to work for during and still now to this day during that time.
Mm-hmm. Before you went to work for Doc's in interior decorating, were you doing that in Dallas or anyplace else?
I was an interior designer back in Dallas along with a real estate. I had held my real estate license, so I was doing real estate, residential, and also commercial and residential interior design work.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I understood that before you became a full-time interior designer, you did some stand-up work.
Oh, well, I wouldn't really call it work. That was more for fun. And I got into doing stand-up, just doing the open mic night, maybe 3 times a week. And for about 1.5 years, I did. It was a lot of fun. And I got to know seemed like all of them, but a lot of the amateur comedians in town and some of the pros that would come in. It's fun.
So you did that in Dallas?
Yes.
Good. I know you did some work with us in the Improvisational Theater Club.
Sure did. That was fun too.
Yeah. Anytime you want to come back. So I like to begin every show with a joke, so we'll give you a couple of bad jokes. This one's especially for you, Janine, because you're a ballet dancer.
Oh. Can
you tell us why dogs make such terrible dance partners?
No.
That's because they've got 2 left feet.
Okay, that was good. That is true. Okay, that's cute.
Okay,
your nephew should like that one.
My grandson.
Oh, excuse me, your grandson.
Evan wouldn't like that. Okay, so at Doc's Restoration, what is the design philosophy that you use for your design work?
At Doc's Restorations, we really focus on one source and one solution, and we're a one-stop shop. And our philosophy is that and mine personally, as far as design, is that anywhere you look in your house should bring you joy. So if you're looking at your floors or your countertops and it's not bringing you happiness, it's something that's bothering you, on and on and on, I believe,
Mm-hmm. So, Janine, can you tell us what your design philosophy is when you go into someone's home for the first time?
Okay. Well, when I am called over to go into somebody's home, and what I typically will do is go in and I look around. I like to see and listen. I like to look at the house and listen to the customer tell me, their thoughts and feelings about what they're wanting done. I personally believe that when you have a house and when you have a home, when you look around, and if you're in your house and something is driving you crazy all the time, whether it be a piece of furniture, flooring, a rug, some area that just does not look good and it drives you crazy all the time. Many a time I hear people say for years something bothers them, and then you change it. So design philosophy is wherever you look in your house should look pleasing to your eye. Keep the drawers messy if you want, but like around your house, it should bring you happiness. And And people discount that, I think. But I think it adds to the quality of life.
Mm-hmm. What's the most common change or enhancement that you do with the interior design of a home here in the Villages?
Here in the Villages, I would say I do a lot of renovations with Doc's Restorations, and I design a lot of new countertops. These homes are getting older, 10 or 15, 20 years old homes, and so I do a lot of new countertops, flooring, a lot of paint colors. I love to do that. New cabinets.
What about wallpaper? Are people putting in wallpaper, or is that an obsolete thing?
Wallpaper is back in. It's been coming back in. Don't be afraid to use wallpaper. Accent walls are good for wallpaper. You don't want to use it all over, but certainly it's an option nowadays that people should around here especially take more advantage of it, because we're a little slower behind here. And so they can be the ones in the cutting edge, being forward, fashion forward, if you will.
Okay. I have a friend who lives down in Port St. Lucie, and he remodeled his house recently, and he had every room painted a different color. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a little strange. What would you say if you walked into a home like that?
Well, how did you feel when you walked into every room that was a different color? How did you personally feel? Let me ask you that.
For me, it made no reaction at all. He had to point it out that he painted every room a different color.
So was every color pretty subtle then?
No, he had some very deep blues, purples, yellows.
So nothing of the rooms was jarring to you if you went into like a deep blue room to a yellow room?
It wasn't disorienting or jarring, no.
Okay, you might be colorblind. So for most people, you're colorblind. I mean, here's the thing. If you want your rooms in your house to be different colors, we can make it as many different colors as you want. But when we go from one room into another room, for me personally, I like the transition to be gentle and cohesive. The colors can be different, but just so that they complement each other instead of contrasting and fighting with each other. I think we've all been in people's houses. Kind of sounds like the house Mike is talking about, where every room is like, yellow and blue and then turquoise and green and purple. And that, if it's not done properly, mixing all those colors, it's a big mistake. It can be a big mistake.
Well, if my friend is listening.
Sorry, friend.
But
so you're happy, the homeowner's happy is all that matters.
He loved it. And in fact, he had to point it out to me because I didn't really notice it, that every room was a different color.
Well, maybe that's not your forte, Mike.
Well, it didn't bother me, and it didn't make me feel better or worse in any particular room.
Okay.
So it wasn't there. What are the top design mistakes?
One of the top mistakes I see is people push their furniture up against the walls. This is something simple I see a lot. Like say in your living room or your living room. You have your sofa. It'll be pushed up against the wall. I've seen tables, just completely side tables pushed up against the wall, pushed up against the sofa. The spacing of the furniture that I've seen recently here down here in the Villages and surrounding areas, like spacing of the furniture is just terrible. So I think bring that furniture out, bring the sofa out from the wall. It should never be touching the wall. Pull it out. Make sure the spacing of your furniture is balanced and well appointed.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people are investing in high-end 75, 85-inch television sets. From an interior decorating point of view, what do you think of something like that?
I say go for it.
Go for it?
Yeah, go for it.
They should be hung on the wall, not on a table?
I say put it on the wall.
Okay, put them on the wall.
Put them on the wall. Don't be afraid. It's not going to fall off. Go ahead and go. And, if you're retired and that's what we enjoy, you like a big TV, and you have the open floor plans like how we have here in many of the houses, the living room and the dining room and the kitchen are all one room.
Right.
If you want a big TV, get one. Get a big one. The bigger, the better.
That's what I say. I was talking to another friend of ours, and this lady was saying she just bought a new house. She bought it up in the Marion County area, and she bought that house specifically because it didn't have that silly open floor plan. She
Right.
wanted walls between her
Mhm.
living room and dining room and kitchen.
Right.
And she bought a house that had it that way.
Yes, and I actually was in a house like that today with one of my customers, and I can see the draw with that coming back in style again. And maybe it is coming back in trend again, having that separate kitchen. It is nice. It kind of made the kitchen a little cozier. So I just think it's personal preference, whatever you want, you know.
Mm-hmm. If you had...
It reminded me of growing up back in the old days.
in the old days, yeah, they were all the houses were like that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the dining room was separate from the kitchen, which was separate from the living room.
Yeah, and what happened was we stopped using the formal dining areas.
I had a house like that in Cincinnati for 25 years, and the only times we used the dining room was on holidays when we had family in town.
Right, right.
And we therefore had a lot of wasted space. The family room got a lot of use.
Right, right. And so that's why the houses started changing. Yeah.
Now, if you could pick one design option that you think would benefit most people in the villages, what one design thing would you recommend that they look at?
That is a good question. I would say, and this is going to be something you probably wouldn't even think I would talk about, but I would say, you know, those slats that cover the outside, the leveler blinds that you turn and they open up and they're terrible, and the one you either pull them open or get rid of those. Like everybody just get rid of those.
Get rid of the Venetian
Burn
blinds. And instead, what do you do?
And then put in like shears that are on with wands. You can open and close them, or if you want darkening in the back, blackout, or if not blackout, they have semi-sheer, right? They're so much prettier. And what you want is to never have those shears or those drapes floating off of the floor. I mean, you want them floating right above the floor, like maybe 1/4 of an inch right off the never like 4 or 5 inches off the floor. And I see that all the time. And then you want to mount that curtain rod higher and wider than the actual window, because it'll draw the eyes up to the ceiling, and it'll make which you did not do in here, but that's okay.
Well, this is a studio.
I know.
I actually put in the sound deadening drapes over the window exclusively for sound deadening.
Did they say sound deadening drapes on it?
It said they were blackout.
But I bet you are. I bet they are.
It helps.
It does.
This room is a lot better today than it was back in April when we started this podcast.
You know, I walked in here and I thought it was, you know, it looks like a padded cell. I thought it was for you in your straitjacket.
Well, some people would want to put me in a straitjacket. I don't know about that. But I want to thank you again for being on the show. And why don't you tell our listeners how they can get a hold of you if they'd like a independent evaluation of the interior decorating in their home?
Yes. I'd love that. So you can give me a call. Again, my name is Janine Evans, and my phone number is 352-818-3284. And again, that's Janine. Thank you.
Thanks for being with us today, Janine.
Thank you for having me.
Remember, our next episode will air live Friday at 9 a.m., or should I say pre-recorded, but that's when it'll be released on our regular subscriptions. Bonus subscribers can get early access to episodes. Should you want to become a sponsor of the show, contact me at mikeroth@rothvoice.com. If you know someone that you think should be on the show, send me an email at mike@rothvoice.com. I want to thank everyone for listening to the show. The content of the show is copyright by Roth Voice 2022, all rights reserved.